Welcome back to I Want That Too, the podcast where Disney merch meets Disney history. I'm entertainment writer Jim Hill, and as always, I'm joined by the lovely Lauren Hersey.
Jim, hi. It sounds like you're maybe not feeling well. Are you okay, buddy?
Well, Santa left me an interesting gift this year. I actually went down to the Hill family party on the 25th, and what was fascinating is by 2 days later, fully a fourth of the folks who were at the party, including, sadly, my 92-year-old mom, were knocked out by some sort of flu, which is a little maddening because I was a good, responsible adult in the first week that this year's flu shot was available. Went out, got it. So I was walking around figuring I got it down, and no, did not. So,
Well, we hope you feel better soon. And I
hmm
mean, it's kind of actually fitting with
hmm
what we're going to be talking about today, which later in the show, we're going to be talking about Wellness Month at Disney. And like, you have a cool story about Sports Goofy and how he became Disney's first official, like, fitness wellness ambassador.
oh
So,
yeah.
like, I hope we didn't manifest this for you.
I don't know. Life is full of cruel ironies, but okay. Then, all right. Well, let us chug ahead here.
All right. Well, before we get into it today,
Mhm.
new year, new sponsor. Maybe we should start with thanking them.
Yeah, that we are thrilled to announce that we are partnering with World of DVC for the new year, and these folks really do it all.
They do. And if you're planning, like we're just starting to do our planning for next year for travel.
Mhm.
I mean, if you don't know, you can save serious money by renting DVC points. And they have the DVC rental store, which is like the name when you're renting points. So, like, what that allows you to do is stay at deluxe resorts for a fraction of the cost, which when we're talking Disney is a total game changer.
And for those of you who already own or are thinking about joining Disney Vacation Club, check out the DVC resale market. They're the leader in the secondary market with over 70,000 satisfied members. Whether you're looking to buy or sell DVC points, they make the process seamless.
All right, and finally, they also have a travel agency, which is Be Our Guest Vacations. So they're a platinum level earmarked travel agency, and they offer concierge level service, making every trip stress free as possible, and magical. So we need to show some love to Be Our Guest Vacations.
Sure. And please head on over to beourguestvacations.com to learn more. Okay, so I guess that brings us to the news. And I just want to start off here, Lauren. Like an hour or so ago, I ventured out because we had gone through all of the cold medicine in the house. We needed a refill. So I was at Target. And I got to tell you, I mean, again, coming in the door December 31st, New Year's Eve, and watching the staff just piling up all of the Valentine's Day candy. It's like, oh, come on, guys. Please, give me a minute.
Do you want to be possibly disgusted?
Okay, sure.
Well,
Okay.
I just got back from Hobby Lobby,
hmm
and not only did they have all of their Valentine's Day stuff out, because, I told you like last show that, we
hmm
typically go shopping the day after Christmas. So even then, we were seeing a lot
hmm
of Valentines. I kid you not, they
hmm
were starting to put out Easter today.
Uh, well, okay. Hobby Lobby putting out Easter that early. I get that because lots of folks likes to be crafty in regard to Easter,
Eh.
so you get the supplies early. But I get it. I get it. And in fact, I have to. It's one of the other things I have to do tonight is pull out all of our 2025 calendars, put those up. So.
Oh yeah, tis the season. And I don't
Mhm.
know like how you are in the Hill household, but the minute Christmas is done at the
Mhm.
Hersey house, I'm like, okay, now get the stuff out. like, I'm done with it. The day after, like, I ran out and came home, and Eric had nearly everything already put away.
Well, the irony is that we were originally, I mean, on the Hill side of the family, this is kind of on hold because of what's going on with the flu. But ironically enough, we were supposed to have Nancy's side of the family, the Moores. We were supposed to have a holiday party the Saturday before Christmas, but my two nieces came down with COVID,
Oh,
and then the nephew came down with strep, and so they pushed the party out to this Sunday, and of course, then we couldn't come. So, so Christmas for us. What little Christmas is December 13th. Is that when the wise men were supposed to show up?
yes.
Okay, I think that's finally when we may be able to finally meet with everybody and actually open presents. Otherwise, Groundhog Day is open right now too. So
Why not? I mean, you might get
yeah,
Easter.
there we
I
go.
mean, whatever,
There we
whatever.
go. There we go. Okay.
But moving on to sweeter things.
Hmm.
So we are starting to see Valentine's Day merch, not only just at Target and Walmart and everywhere you turn,
Hmm.
but they're starting to show up at the parks and on the Disney store. So they have like a very, very cute shirt at Walt Disney World with Donald and Daisy. It's red and it looks like Daisy is like daydreaming about Donald. It's pretty cute. It's $29.99. So I think that it's still actually, which is odd, trickling into the parks.
Hmm.
But the Disney store, however, they're ready to rock and roll.
Hmm.
So I had to call out for our plushie fans
Hmm.
listening. They kind of have a different theme each year I mean, they have a theme for everything, but this year's plushie theme is actually chocolate covered strawberries, which
Oh.
I don't know. Like, you know how they did like the Stitch Eats like last year? So they had it was that very food heavy
Hmm.
line. So I'm like, it must have been somewhat successful to like kick off Valentine's Day
Hmm.
with some more food related uh, plushies.
Wow, that's very specific though. The chocolate covered strawberry, and then with identifiable characters, really?
Yeah, so there's Mickey and Minnie are sold separately, just
Mm-hmm.
disclaimer, but Mickey has like brown corduroy pants, which I'm assuming is the chocolate, and then he
Hmm.
has like a little satin vest, which is strawberry print, and
Hmm.
then Minnie is adorable. She has like a pink bow, and it has a chocolate covered strawberry on the bow, and
Hmm.
then some like satin, strawberries on her desk or on her not her desk, her dress.
Hmm. Okay.
And then we have Stitch, and he is literally dressed up like a full-blown chocolate covered strawberry.
Hmm.
So cute. Mickey and Minnie are $24.99, and Stitch, even though he is an inch smaller, he is
Hmm.
$29.99. So if you're into plushies, check those out. And then the
Okay.
other interesting thing that I saw
Hmm.
was maybe not the fact that it's a Valentine's themed magic band, but like
Hmm.
what struck me as strange, because I mean, it's basic magic band. It has like the Mickey and Minnie, like their hands are making a heart. Mickey's on one side, Minnie's on the other. Pretty standard stuff.
Hmm.
Guess how much the magic band is?
Okay, I'm sitting down. Hit me with a number.
It's $54.99 for a magic band.
Um, what's kind of interesting about this is actually Disney playing into the fact that, well, face it, if you're at Walt Disney World now, the average guest is doing so much of their stuff on their phone. Whereas the folks who really, 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 really love magic bands are much smaller subset of the folks who go to the park. And so the notion is we can take advantage of this. The folks who collect these, and there are people who are quite dedicated to filling out their collection, with magic bands that have been created for special events or things like holidays like this, are perfectly willing to pony up Wow, almost $55.
But do you remember when they were free? Like,
I
I think I
do.
have a
I do.
thousand of
Yeah.
the like solid ones. And then if
Mhm.
you wanted one with a design like similar to this, I felt like they were $20.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Yeah.
get it, inflation and
Mhm.
everything. And it does say limited edition.
It does, it does. But again, it's also what the market will bear. And that is kind of the byword for the Disney company these days. So
Yeah, and I mean, like, I, I don't know. I think that for $55, it should at least have like a pedometer, and so you
there
can
we
track your
go.
steps
There
or
we go. Yeah.
something
Mhm.
for that price. But whatever, if you're going down, like, you could
Mhm.
use it to get into your room and
Mhm.
like maybe to pay, but there's an audience for everything, so why not?
All true. All true. All right. So, top of the show, you mentioned something about Wellness Month at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, Jim. It is a new year. And, like,
Mhm.
what is the first thing people do after eating way too many Christmas cookies? I mean, like they're signing up for a gym membership. Like, look out, Planet Fitness. Like they're making their New Year's resolutions, and we might all break them at some point or another. But Disney is the machine that it is, and it's like, okay, how do we capitalize on this? And so they are bringing back. I'm not sure how long they've been doing it. Maybe but they're bringing back Wellness Month at Walt Disney World and specifically at Disney Springs. And I mean, I plays into the time of the year when it's top of mind, right?
Well, also, what's genius about it is think about it, Lauren. This show will drop on what the 2nd of January.
Yes.
If we jump ahead a week, starting on January 8th, we have the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. This is the
Yes.
31st year, and so you have all of these people who bring their family, bring their friends, stay on property, and the fact that here will Disney Springs, which is your food, your shopping, your entertainment center of the resort, celebrating wellness at a time when all of these dedicated to health people on property. That's a great Venn diagram to work right there.
Yeah, and I mean it's that Advent healthcare, and I bet like we talked about in the last episode about Sensi, I bet they have to do so many activations. But this one is something I've not seen before for Disney. And the weird thing was, I didn't even know about it. And I mean,
Hmm.
like we're big fans, we go often,
Hmm.
and I was just on, TikTok a couple days ago
Hmm.
and I stumbled upon a video and talking about all of these free
Hmm.
events and activities and collaborations they're offering. Like it was wild.
Well, again, face it, TikTok is the fountain of all theme park knowledge.
Listen, I've learned some pretty impressive stuff on TikTok, so no
Now,
judgment.
no
Um
disrespect, no disrespect, but continue.
Yeah, so the guy was talking about the events, there's classes, experiences, they're all free. You just have
Hmm.
to sign up in advance at there's the separate website for Disney Springs.
Hmm.
And so I was intrigued, obviously, because Disney doesn't do anything for free. And what I found out was there's 7 different self-care itineraries and they're tailored to all different like activity levels and interests.
Oh, okay. So seven. All right. I like that much priority. So what's included?
Okay, so I have one that I think you'll love. I have to start with Cirque because they're one of the sponsors on the Jim Hill Media Network.
Hmm.
And they're offering a fitness class where you can like learn stretching and warm up techniques from the actual performers. Isn't
Okay.
that crazy? For
I I
free.
I'm sorry. I say this with love because yes, the Draw and Delight people are sponsors of Disney Dish, and that's a hard pass for me. Okay. I mean, I have seen these people. All right. I don't want I don't want to be trying to stretch the way they stretch. These are professional. In fact, Len describes them as, what is it? You mean the stretchy French people? And it's just the notion of to get it. Okay, now bend your leg. Ben, put it over your head. Scratch your ear. It's like no, I need a stretching class from people from Minnesota. All right.
I mean, you could always be the balled up piece of paper in the
Oh,
show, like like that's the
yeah,
bad
I
guy.
love her.
She's so great.
What is it? Misfortune, misinformation. I forget what she's called. One of my goals for 2025 is to get my picture taken with the actors in that outfit. Again, she's my spirit animal.
Oh,
So
she is fantastic. If you've
yeah.
not seen the show, it is an
Mhm,
absolute must. But
mhm,
it's not just the stretching. With this itinerary, you
mhm.
can get a discount at the Cirque store.
Okay, that's
There's
cool.
lunch free mocktails at Morimoto Asia and a 10% off a drink at Everglazed Donuts and Cold Brew. That's the first one.
Man, now you made me want to do it. Oh, God. Okay. I mean, just for the mocktails and the donuts. All right.
Why not? I mean, like, we're talking about fitness and donuts.
There we
Okay.
go. There we go.
So, next one
Mhm,
is this one is called Connect with Your Senses. I think it's a little more zen.
mhm,
This is where you can, stroll through like the art walk at Disney Springs, shop at Basin, you get 15% off.
mhm.
Over at MAC Cosmetics, that's 15% off. And this one also it has the free mocktails at Morimoto Asia.
I'm sensing a theme here with Morimoto Asia. I wonder if they do great business at dinner. I wonder if this is a way to get people to try them at lunch. But still, that sounds like a way to have a more relaxing day at Disney Springs.
Yes, and I mean, so then there's the Find Your Balance.
Mhm.
Now this one has a fitness class with Lululemon, and I think it was like yoga or Pilates. And then if you shop there, you get a gift with purchase. You get 10% off lunch at Chef Art's Homecoming, and now we're gonna start another theme here:
Go.
10% off a drink at Everglazed Donuts.
Okay. I actually kind of appreciate this. I mean, at the same time, nobody wants to see me in Lululemon pants. But on the other hand,
With a donut in your hand.
well, but also to have lunch at Jeff at homecoming. It's like, yes, okay, I'll even put on the pants for that.
Get some chicken, some leggings, and a donut, and a
There we go.
mocktail.
And a mocktail. Okay.
All right, so now if you have kids, there is one for families.
Mhm.
This one is called the Family Day Out, and this one has Zumba. I don't. Do you know what Zumba is?
Yes.
Okay, Zumba at a kids club, so it's like family Zumba. There's
Mhm.
discounted bowling, lunch at Splitsville, which my son swears they have the best pizza on the planet,
I was a
and
It's so interesting you say that. That's the secret weapon of Splitsville. I mean, it's a great place for a fun group activity, fun family activity, but the food should not be that good.
no, he swears. He's like, even if we don't bowl, like, we've got to go there to eat. And I'm like, come on, Hunter. But I mean, he evangelizes it, so we'll go with it. And with that one,
Mhm,
I mean, now take your kids for
mhm.
a donut with a discount.
These all sound great. Again, you get people active and you're out for the day and you're entertained. Okay, so what else we got?
All right, I don't know if this is specifically guys, but it's called Guys Day Out. Now, this
Hmm.
one sounds really cool. It's a photography tour
Hmm.
around Disney Springs, and it's with a photo pass photographer. This one also had discounted bowling and 10% off at Everglazed Donuts.
Hmm. Okay. Again, Everglades seems to be the MVP of Wellness Month, which I'm going to say is kind of counterintuitive, but they make great donuts.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I never even heard of it until I was looking this up. But when
Hmm.
I was at Universal, like a couple weeks ago, a month ago, like
Hmm.
everybody was walking out with voodoo donuts.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering if these are like competition or
Well, I mean, I want to say Everglazed came in 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and we, in fact, when the folks at Storybook Destinations, Tammy actually ended one of the events by having a meet and greet there, and just as it opened, and coffee was great, donuts were great, everything was fresh. Just it's hidden over there on the west side, but well worth seeking out.
All right, I'm gonna have to check it out next time we're down there.
Hmm.
Get my Gideon's cookie and get a
Okay.
donut, get a donut,
I,
and a
I,
sprinkles cupcake while I'm at it. Why not? Calories don't count at
I,
Disney Springs.
I mean this in the kindest possible way. Get a box of Everglazed, okay? Because if you're going to
Ah,
be standing at the line at Gideon's, you're going to
gonna need a snack.
yeah, for the 3 hours, all right, before you get your cookie. Not that I'm bitter. All right. So anyway, all right.
All
What else?
right, so we got two more itineraries. We got to
Mhm,
have one for the ladies, right? This one was a free tea sampling at the Spice and Tea Exchange Shop.
mhm,
It was 15% off at Basin. Again, discount. Oh, no, we got different mocktails here. We got
mhm,
mocktails at Paddlefish and Terlita Crafted Italian and the photography tour. So that one was for the ladies. And if a
mhm.
lady wants to bring a date, that this is the final itinerary. This one had photography, shopping with Basin, and this one had a like a is it prefix? Is that how you say that? With the
Sure.
dining?
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. And then they have a deal on Drawn to Life tickets. So for free, I feel like these are pretty incredible.
No, again, and especially if you're somebody who lives in Central Florida and staring into the teeth of Valentine's Day, if you wanted to get things started a little early during Wellness Month, this might be a really smart way to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said at the top of the segment, you
Hmm.
can still register for most of these activities, and you don't have to do the full itinerary. You could just kind of pick and choose what you want to do.
Hmm.
But some do have limited capacity, so I would try to get your reservations early and just head over to the Disney Springs website to do that.
Okay, so note it, and just to review here again: donuts, mocktails, stretchy pants, photography classes, and Zumba. Sounds like an interesting way to kick off the new year.
Listen, we all gotta shake off those Christmas cookies somehow. Why not? I feel like that's the theme of today's show. Why not? So, on that note, we are gonna keep the wellness train moving forward.
Mhm.
After the break, Jim is going to be talking about Sports Goofy. That is the first time Disney ever associated a character with health and fitness. So, stay with us.
And we're back. All right. So, talk to me, Lauren. What do you know about Sports Goofy, or for Goofy for that matter?
Um, well, regarding Goofy, I
Hmm.
mean, I like the Goofy movie, but as far as what I know about Sports Goofy is absolutely nothing. So please enlighten me, sir.
Well, and it's interesting you bring up the Goofy movie because just last year, there is now a documentary out there about the making of that film called Not Just a Goof. It was actually put together by two super fans of the film, Christopher Ninnis and Eric Kimbleton. Made his debut on the show circuit in May of last year, and I've been chasing this film forever because it supposedly has amazing behind the scenes footage of the voice actors working on the film and just goes into the whole process. But even in that film, you get for example, remember one of the key elements of the Goofy movie is Goofy wants Max to learn the perfect cast, an athletic activity. And that's the interesting thing, that Goofy as a character Lauren, he struggled. He made his debut in a black and white Mickey Mouse cartoon in May of 1932, Mickey's Review. And I don't know if you want to look at this version of the character, Lauren. He's an old man with a long white beard.
What?
Actually, probably looks very familiar to the face you're looking at right now. And the gag in this film it is that he's annoying the other people in the audience because he has a big, goofy laugh, and he's crunching peanuts. But again, character got a laugh, and that was the rule of Disney. Character gets a laugh, comes back. So he stays, but Disney doesn't really know what to do with him first. And so he's a background character, and at this point, he's not Goofy, he's Dippy Dog. But he's an ensemble character, he's a background character. He doesn't really graduate to being Mickey's friend and associate till the Orphan's Benefit, which is August of 1934. But character catches on, and so Disney in 39 decides to spin him off into his own series, and his debut cartoon is Goofy and Wilbur. That arrives in theaters of August that year. And what's interesting, again, right from the get-go, he is Goofy fishing. So again, he's being athletic. But the studio struggles for a while. It's like, what's different about the Goofy movies? What are we going to do? What's his hook? And it's Jack Kinney, who's a longtime director at Disney. And Jack is great at crazy animation. And what Jack realized is like, what we can do with Goofy. Let's put him in a sports setting. Because again, he's uncoordinated and that's going to make it fun. So we get our first sports themed Goofy cartoon in November of 1941. We get The Art of Skiing. And this one isn't out in theaters yet. And Walt looks at that cartoon and it's like, okay, you figured it out. Let's do another one of those. So not 1 month later, we get The Art of Self-Defense. And this arrives in theaters December 41. And audiences love these. So then we start to see in very short order, we get How to Play Baseball, The Olympic Champ, How to Swim, How to Golf, How to Play Football. Lauren, these are all inside of 2 years. All right. And then because people are really reacting to the mayhem, Jack actually makes one of the most famous Goofy cartoons of all time, Hockey Homicide. If you think about hockey and slapstick, this is a marriage of that. And then follows it up with a basketball themed one, Double Dribble. And if we jump ahead, by the time Disney gets out of the theatrical cartoon business, there are now 44 Goofy shorts, and more than a third of these are sports themed. And not only that, but when it comes time to launch the Disneyland TV show, they're like, oh, geez, this is a gift. Because what they can do is they would just turned to a bunch of the Goofy sports shorts and creating just a little new animation to serve as bridges between the different cartoons. They created these sports themed episodes of the Disneyland TV show. In fact, second year of the show, there was the Goofy Sports Story that aired on ABC in March of 1956. And that one was so popular and was rerun multiple times that in November of 61, the first name of this show, and again, it gives you some idea of how times change. The original name of this episode of what was now the Wonderful World of Color was Holiday for Henpecked Husbands. All right, but later, when evidently NBC got letters, it's like that one was rerun as Goofy Takes a Holiday. All right, so but this was the thing, that so Goofy as a sports star was something that was in the zeitgeist, and people had seen it in theaters. They had seen it on the Disney television show. We now jump ahead to the late 1970s, where the company is actively looking for ways to get the old characters out there. And what's interesting is this idea doesn't come from Burbank, Lauren. This is an artist who works in France for the Disney company. His name is Claude Marin. And Claude is the one that's like, now, wait a minute. We have all of these great shorts from the 40s and the 50s of Goofy as an athlete. why don't we do a cartoon of Goofy, like a comic book, as a Goofy as an athlete? And so it starts in France. It becomes very popular, so much so that the folks stateside take notice and say, "All right, let's put our toe in the water here and see if there might be an interest in this version of the character, Sports Goofy." And they put out a little golden book that it's called Sports Goofy and the Racing Robot. But here's the interesting thing, Lauren. It gets published in 1984, which, of course, is when the Walt Disney Company went through this huge management change, and Michael Eisner came in as the new head of the Walt Disney Company. And what Michael, and again, one of Michael's marching orders from the Texas billionaires who would effectively arrange for him to land the job, it's like, you need to do more with the classic Disney characters. And so Michael sees this book and it's like, okay. But Michael is also famous for whatever the last person told him is in his brain. And evidently, one of the stats he had learned coming into Disney, and again, you have to understand that Michael Eisner also had 3 sons, so he spent a lot of time on athletic fields, that soccer was going to be the game of the future for America. Okay, that it was already huge in Europe, and the teams were established here in the States, but it was about to become huge. And so it's like, so Michael, it's a peanut butter and jelly, chocolate in your peanut butter moment. It's like, all right, yeah, let's do something with Sports Goofy and let's make it about soccer. And so June of 1985, Ed Hansen, the vice president in charge of Disney feature animation, announces that Disney's making a brand new featurette, Sports Goofy and Soccer Mania. It's going to be a 25-minute long featurette. And the agenda of this project, this will be the first it'll bring the Fab Five back to theaters, bring them out of semi-retirement. And by the way, this was going to be the first new Goofy cartoon since Freeway Phobia had been out in theaters in 1965, so it was 20 years.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah. Now, what's fascinating about this is the guys over at Feature Animation who are working on this. And by the way, this is a story that is set in Duckburg. This is a story that features Scrooge McDuck and the nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and the Beagle Boys. But but it's not DuckTales, which, by the way, the people over on television animation are working on. So these two projects are happening in parallel and not comparing notes. But you have the guys who do feature animation for Disney working on Sports Goofy and Soccer Mania. And then you have a brand new unit of folks who are setting up Walt Disney television animation who are doing DuckTales. And it finally shows up on television May 27th, 1987. And here's the thing, Sports Goofy is good at sports.
Okay.
I mean, like, he's coordinated, he has skills, and this aired on television. The animation is lovely, and you guys did an amazing job, but that's not Goofy.
What?
Because he's coordinated. He's leading a team, winning a soccer match. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's just no. Goofy is uncoordinated. And that was the thing. Mind you, the other reason you might want to seek this out today is if you watch it closely, and at a moment they cut away to the stands. You can actually see an early prototype version of Roger Rabbit. The version, by the way, that Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, was going to voice. That was still in production on the feature animation side at this point, and they threw him in as a cameo because this will be funny when that movie comes out, and it never came out. Anyway, long story short, they did do some merchandise. Now, mind you, this is during that era of Disney when they're still kind of getting their act together. So, for example, the folks at Aladdin, they make a Sports Goofy lunchbox and thermos. But evidently nobody told the folks at Aladdin what the TV special was about. So it's Goofy playing tennis rather than soccer. So it's like, okay, thanks, guys. And by the way, another division of the company, the folks who were working with the Feld organization to do the ice shows, they heard that, oh, well, Disney's doing this big animated special about Sports Goofy. Let's get on track with that. So the ice show, the Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom on Ice for that year was Sports Goofy. And that actually traveled the world between 1985 and 1990.
What was he playing there? Was like cricket or something? Did he play soccer?
He played everything. In fact,
Oh, he
well,
played
again, it's
everything.
an ice show, so he's ice skating, but he played football, he played basketball. I mean, just they really leaned into it. And what's kind of interesting is in the middle of all this, we did get some Sports Goofy collectible figures. These were actually done more to tie in with the 1988 Olympics. So you have Sports Goofy as a weightlifter, a football player, a roller skater, tennis player, and somebody who does fencing. So that one sounds particularly scary. Uh, and then again, because remember, this is out ahead of the Summer Olympics in Seoul, we begin to see pins. And in fact, if you talk with Disney pin collectors, these early pins feature the Sports Goofy character are very prized. And of course, in this same window of time, we have Disney moving into the VHS home entertainment business, digging down into the library, and somebody actually looks at the episodes of the old Disneyland TV show, and it's like, oh God, why didn't we do that? And we get the Goofy World of Sports compilation, which is a bunch of the cartoons done together. But again, because of this aspect of sports, Goofy actually being a talented athlete, and the company, at the same time, we are now beginning development on the Goofy movie, which is Max is embarrassed by his dad, who's a klutz. And it's like, basically, we've got to make a decision about which direction are we going here. And so a decision was made that Sports Goofy would be benched. And the classic Goofy, the one who has been voiced by Bill Farmer now since the 1980s, would go forward. Though, I just want to point out that before this happened, we did get a tribute to Sports Goofy. In fact, you can visit it even today on Disney property if you go to the Disney All-Star Sports Resort, because the store there off of Stadium Hall is called Sport Goofy Gift and Sundries. So, all right, it's missing an S. It's not Sports Goofy, it's Sport Goofy. But here he is. He's celebrated with his own store on Disney property.
Listen, I'm gonna blow your mind because I don't even think you know this, but
Mhm.
as you were talking, I needed to see Dippy Dog myself. And so then I just, I popped over to the Disney store and I just typed in Goofy while you were talking. Nothing
Mhm.
else, not Sport Goofy, anything. And the
Okay.
second thing that came up is a
Mhm.
piece of artwork right now that's a limited edition. It's Randy
Mhm.
Nibble. This is gonna blow your mind because
Okay.
when you ask me what do I know about Sports Goofy, I
Mhm.
never would even associate Goofy with sports. But this is a
Mhm.
painting inspired by Walt Disney's 1942 instructional short that you're talking about how to play baseball, and it's
Mhm.
called The First Pitch, and it's Goofy. He's on the mound. He's like winding up like serious business. Like he is a baseball player in
Mhm.
this piece of art. And
Mhm.
that is the second thing that pops up when you type in Goofy on the DisneyStore.com. And it's $150. So if anybody wants a little piece of sports Goofy for your home, you can get it now.
Yeah, that's in fact to sort of bring this full circle. There's a wonderful moment in the version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit that Disney actually did release in 1988, where Eddie Valiant and Roger are on the lam and they're hiding up in the balcony of a movie theater, and a Goofy cartoon comes on, and it's actually, I want to say it's Goofy How to Be an Athlete. And it's Roger just marveling about, Goofy is the best. Nobody's better at this, because he's doing all of his stunts and he's doing all this physical stuff. And it just sort of, and that's the thing. That's the fact that you have a movie character commenting on a character in a movie about He's a great athlete. He's wonderful at what he does. So, and again, these shorts today are as funny. The stuff that Jack Kenny did are as funny today as they were when they were first released to theaters. So, if you want a big laugh in the new year, go check these out. They're all over YouTube.
All right. Well, Jim, I think on that note, it is about time we close up shop for today and you maybe get some NyQuil so you can start feeling better. But in the meantime, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening across the Jim Home Media Podcast Network, just make sure you're following along on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X. That's where we're posting all the latest updates and news from all of our shows so you won't miss anything. And while you're at it, leave us a review. It really helps support the show and it means a lot.
Absolutely. And don't forget, if you've got questions or suggestions for future episodes, if I want that to, we would love to hear from you. So you can email us. Get me at jim@jimhillmedia.com or Lauren@laurenhersey.com.
All right, that about does it for today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on I Want That Too.